Hi everyone and welcome back. So in this video we are going to build a tiny cart app. In the last video we created some kind of a food delivery app just to showcase the HTML and JavaScript, not styling. I'm not beautifying my apps now because CSS we haven't covered, so I'm not talking about anything on that. It's all about how we deal with the JavaScript, DOM APIs and basic JavaScript skills, object array, functions, loops and all. So here also we are going to create a simple file. So here we are going to create let's say cart.js. Okay, I should rename this. Is it allowed? Cart.js, where we are going to write the logic, and this time we are going to do it a little bit differently. We are going to use a local storage for storing the data. So let's say you have a cart. How we create an object? Let cart, this is the cart object, and inside this cart we will be using local storage to store the data, like local storage dot get item. Do we have anything in the cart? So when you reload the whole app you will still see the items in the cart. If we have this, then the important part with the local storage is whenever you get the data from local storage, and if it is a string JSON data, then you have to stringify it. You have to parse it, and we have a JSON.parse utility. It's like this, JSON.parse, to get the JSON object back from the stringified JSON. So we just do JSON.parse local storage.get item. So we got the cart object and we are just parsing it. And whenever you set the item in JSON in the local storage, what you do is local storage.set item and JSON.stringify the whole object. And here what I'm going to do, because I need to show these cart menu items in the table. So this is how you will get the cart object. And what the cart object look like? This is the cart object, and inside that you have the items inside that. So let's play with the HTML a little bit, how our table should look like. So here let t-body, let's say we have some HTML table, document.getElementById. So this is how we will access this, and then we can just run a loop. Let id in cart. Now this is the important part, because this is a stringified JSON object. So cart object would be look like this, and here it will contain a key. Okay, it can contain a key something like this. Then this is id2, and how we iterate the object, it's your choice. You can have this as an array also, where you can actually have all the items as an object. If this is an array, then your cart items would be something like this, 1 2. Here I have, let's say this is an object. So how to iterate an object with the keys? Using for in loop, and I will get the individual item using cart id. So this object is somewhat look like this. Inside this object I have the id of the cart is 1, and then this is the whole properties of this item, like name of the product and all the other details. So this is how it is constructed. So this is how we will access it, and then let tr, because we need to create a table dynamically and set this data in the body. Document.createElement, create element tr, and how we can do this, because this is a row, we need to create a 3td in this row. So I think you already know, right? Finally what we will do is inside tbody dot append child, and we will append row, and here we will create a 3td element, like a product title, product price, title TD and price. And I will directly jump to the implementation because it's all about how we store and get the data from the local storage. So it's a title TD, price TD and quantity. I have these three elements and I will start setting the data inside these. Title TD dot text content equal to item dot title. We know that there is some kind of this kind of an attribute there, and then inside tr dot append child, because we know that there are columns will be added inside a row, and then row will be added inside a table body. And here we have title TD. So similarly we will append the second column with all these properties. So it's a price TD, you will add the price and price TD append child. This is price TD and this is a quantity column dot text content. This is TY, and finally append this to the row, right? Append the row to the T body. So let's say you have something inside a local storage, but how you will get the local storage? You have to add those items from the HTML. So here comes our HTML. So inside HTML first we have this T body, we have this tiny table in the bottom. So this is how we create HTML table, right? And this is the table body, right? This we are going to populate dynamically from the local storage. Okay, let's say in the local storage you have some JSON object that we are already parsing in the cart.js. So let's first add this index.js and cart.js, both the files. Now inside our the main index HTML, here we also need to show the items on the UI which you are going to add to the cart, I mean the list of products. So that we can do here using div. We can create a plain div class product, and inside this div you can have multiple products. And like let's say if there are 4 products, so I will just try to, these are the products, and then there is a individual product, division class product. And here these are the data attributes again we are using. These are really very important. Here we are setting data ID, data price, data title, okay, and add to cart. So similarly, let's say we have 5 product or 4 product, you just need to have these unique values. Product 2, different price, ID is 2, price is this, product 2, product 3, 3000, ID is 3. So now we have all unique product, and we are displaying it something like this. We can customize the display. Right now when you click on to this add to cart, we need to add an event listener, so that when you click on to this, we should be able to create a local storage object and set that in the local storage, I mean the cart object, and put that in the local storage, and also render it. So inside our app.js, so what we are going to do is, here inside index.js we are going to play with the whole. So first of all, how many product we have? We'll initialize with everything 0. Sum, we don't know how much you need to pay, 0. And let cart object we are going to construct when you start adding the items to the button. If local storage dot get item, here we are going to store everything inside a local storage, even the count also. If we got the count, then we are going to get the count from local storage back. Local storage dot get item, and this is the simple variable, so we don't need to do a JSON parse and all. It's not a JSON object, but it will be a string, so we need to convert this into number. right? Similarly, these are the global variables which we are storing inside a cart. Local storage dot get item sum, and sum is also we need to parse it, and cart object we need to stringify, and I mean cart object we need to parse. JSON dot parse local storage dot get item cart. So this is how we will initialize the application. If something is already there in the cart, we will set them with the count, sum, and cart object. Right, this here we are declaring, and here we are assigning those values using if. We are checking if it is there, then just assign it. Then update cart. What this function will do, if you see, update cart will, because we got the cart object, now update cart will see what is there and it will try to call the update cart. So update cart is something, a simple function which is going to just put some values on the document dot get element by id. There may be some on the id, some on the html dot text content that will show you, okay, this much you have to pay. And because let's say you build an application and you are reloading it multiple times, then you have to reinitialize everything from the local storage. So this is some count, how many product you have bought. We don't need to set, but let's say local storage dot set item, that also we can do. Sum with the value of sum, count with the value of count. So on top we need to show, okay, user has purchased these many items, and we will show them. And how we are showing them, we can have some IDs on the top. So let's say here we can call this as a header. Right, and here we have a count and sum which we can show. Like when you start adding things, this count and the price will keep increasing. And there is a page also, because we are going to create a cart.html, I mean the new page, or we can show the whole table here in the bottom. Okay, now in app.js, what we are doing, we have these buttons, right? All these buttons with the class product. So we need to add an event listener on those buttons, so that when you click onto those buttons, we should be able to add the item to the cart. So these buttons we have, which we can get using document.get element by document.query selector all. It will give you all the buttons which are there. There is a product class, and after that there is a button. So let's try to see. There is a product class, and inside that there is a button node, right? So it is talking about all these div nodes. Button, 3 buttons should be there. So we will get all the buttons here, because it will be an array. So we can run a loop. We can run a simple for loop. Let I is 0, I is less than buttons dot length I plus plus, and then let button equal to, so get the individual button and add a event listener to that. So button dot add event listener, we need to define a function for it. Okay, when you click on to that, I'm going to add item. This is the function I'm going to call. So this add item I'm going to define here, and this will get called and whenever you are going to add item. Let's see this. Okay, this is working. Now what we are going to do, we are going to get the price title ID using dataset properties. Here if you try to see, we can also access the event object here, and if you try to see event dot target dot data set, what it contains, it's a object map, right? I can just do console.log, that's more better. It will give you the whole map. event.target.data set. I will go to console here. You can see this is the data set, ID, price and title. So we can access all of these and I can get them inside a variable. Easy. I have these three variables. I got the title, price and ID. Now I need to check if this item already added in the cart. If yes, increase the quantity. If item is not in the cart, then don't increase the quantity, just add this item. So I will just check, do we have ID in the cart object? So we have ID is here, ID is in the cart, then cart of this ID dot quantity equal to, either you can do a plus plus or just increase the quantity by 1. Else, if this is not there, what we need to do is we need to assign this, right? We need to create a cart item, which is an object with, okay, I have this title, price and quantity, because this is the first time you are adding the item. Sorry for this typo. Okay, this is cart item which you are adding. I cannot format the content here, cart item. And then once this is there, what you can do is cart, you already have the ID, assign this whole object to this ID, cart item. That's it. So this is way you have increased the item. You just added the item in the cart object. Now you just need to put this item into the local storage. Here you can do, once you are doing it, you are increasing, you are adding the item to the cart. So you can just increase the count plus plus. This is the increment operator. Sum equal to, you can also do something like this, sum equal to sum plus price, or sum equal to sum plus price. And local storage dot set item, because there is a cart object we need to update. And while setting the JSON object into a local storage, you need to stringify it. So this is the cart is JSON object, you set it and then you update the cart. Update cart, what it will do is, update cart we have defined here. It will try to just put the sum and count in the local storage. The cart object we already put in the local storage, right? So what I'm thinking is we can have another page which is just loading this cart.js, so that we can show what all items are in that file. So we can have a cart.html, and I will just try to put this inside cart.html. We just need only the table, nothing else. Okay, and we have cart.js. So if I try to go to the cart.html, it's empty, right? Now I'll start adding the items. Okay, is it added? Not added. Let's see. So we are adding the item from the cart here. So index.js, when you click onto this product, what is happening is, okay, ID in the cart, this is the cart object we have. Cart object I got from local storage, if it is already there, otherwise it was empty. And then I started, and there is nothing inside a cart. If ID in the cart, else cart item, cart of ID. ID is dataset ID. Let's see, cart has already been declared. Where it is happening? Yes, we are not using cart again. We are just using the value update cart, stringify cart. Okay, let's remove this thing. Cart.js we are not using here. we are just using index.js. Okay, I can see that now. Item 1 price, item 2 price, okay, item 3 price 7. And if I go to the cart.html, will it show something? If we can access, yes, it is showing this, right? So this is just another page which is using this cart.js, which is doing nothing, but it is reading the, so this example also shows how to store the data in the local storage when it is a JSON object. Otherwise, if it is a plain simple number, boolean number or string, you can just set them directly using local storage.set item get item. But when it is a JSON object, while getting you need to parse this, and while setting you can stringify it. So here we are setting it also in the bottom. So we got the cart object. I will just set it. So that's the reason, because I'm not showing the cart on the same page. Otherwise I need to call the same function again. I can do that. Let's say if I wanted to display this thing on the same page, we need to move the whole code to there. Okay, we can also do this thing. Then we need to put this thing inside a function and we need to render it. That is easy, I guess. So let's say if I want to do the same thing in this page only, I need to put the HTML here and index.js function render cart, and it is doing is tbody getting the ID and then cart object. That's fine. Inside this cart HTML, I will copy this table here in the bottom, put it in the index.html. It is already there. So we'll go here. Now, just like update cart, we can also call this render cart method. So if there is anything inside the local storage, yes, it is coming up, right? Now if you add, now always you need to call this render cart method. So like update cart, then you also need to call the render cart. Yes, it is showing the items. That is correct. Showing some wrong information, looks like. Yeah, something is wrong, that we'll try to figure it out. So render cart. Okay, it is always try to add, because what is happening, if this HTML node is already there, it is keeps adding these rows every time. So how to avoid this? That's also important thing. Do we already have a, so we need to build this thing only once, then it's all about rendering. We don't need to create element every time. What is happening here, if you see, I added, it will add 3 more rows, again 3 more rows. That's not what we want. So up render cart, we need to check if the item is already there. I mean, how do we make sure? So tbody, if tbody already contains the rows, okay, because it's all about append logic. So initially if there are 2 items, it renders the 2 rows. So either we reset the whole body content like this, like tbody.set inner HTML, tbody.inner HTML. Let's put this empty before rendering. Let's see this if it happens. Okay, that works, right? So we are just increasing the quantity now. You can see, because we need to reinitialize the whole table. So we reset the table before building it, and then I got the new cart object with the 5 more arrays, 5 more items. Let's add them. Let's re-render them and clean that tbody before doing it. So it's a very clean approach. So it's like a simple cart I was trying to show. We can have a small CSS sections which will just display the products in a little bit nicer way. So I can just add a display property for the products. Yeah, simple. And I can remove this alert. I hate putting alerts everywhere. Where it is, this is the alert. Reload this, you can see the items also. So now we have two places where we are showing this. So this is all about how we deal with the DOM and how this all happening. Okay, so it's another example where we are talking about how we are adding the, so what are the quick outcomes, how to access the local storage, how to set and get. Local storage is something which will always be there. When you even the page reloads, the data will still there, so you will retain that information. And here we are doing the DOM manipulation, like adding the events to the all the buttons together in just a one loop, button.add event listener. Apart from that, we are not doing much here. We are just, when you click onto the add, we are getting these data set properties. Another important part is how to get these data set properties, because in the HTML we have added these properties, data ID, data price, and data title. So when you access event.target.dataset, you will get ID, price, and title. Okay, we will talk about more of such examples where we talking in depth about the core aspects. Here we are not talking about styling, but the basic of JavaScript, how you loop onto an object. This is the object, right? If it is an array, you can just do a for of loop, or you can just do a for loop. It's an object, so how to iterate? Using just a for in loop. So you got the items, and then set the item properties, item.title, price, and quantity to all the columns, and put that column, add that column to the row, and then add that row to the t-body. So here we are using excessively the DOM APIs, document.create element, document.get element by ID, document element.append child. Okay, so let's do a couple of more such exercise in the coming videos.